Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we're going to be looking at a custom GCPD SWAT van. This is a SWAT van that is going to go for my Gotham City Police Department in my Batman action figure world. This thing was made for a Mattel WWE Wrestling Swambulance Ambulance vehicle. I got a couple of those a few months ago and really enjoyed them. They're huge, they're durable, they've got nice functionality, they hold even the larger 7.5-inch tall figures, and it had kind of a police feel to it. The white vehicle, the sirens on top. I thought to myself, this thing will make a great GCPD armored truck or van. Now before you guys ask, no, I did not make this SWAT vehicle myself. I had this thing commissioned from a guy that makes me customs from time to time. I do custom figures, and I probably could have done this vehicle, but I haven't worked on a custom guy in quite some time. I just never seem to have extra time between work and just all kind of other things in my life. This thing looks great. GCPD, SWAT, all in black, an armored vehicle. Just absolutely loving it so far. This guy delivered. Here's the side. Here would be the front. You can see the sirens on top. Blue, red. The other side, GCPD SWAT again. Now, it does have some breakaway features, but I'm definitely not going to try to use it too much. As you guys probably know, with anything custom painted, you could start chipping off the paint, and since it's white underneath, it would just start to look bad pretty quick. And the backside here, GCPD, SWAT. So, let's see where it came from. But before we look at the vehicle that it came from, I wanted to show you guys that I actually got two of these things made for me. Two GCPD armored SWAT vans for my Gotham City, my Batman world. It is fantastic. I have a huge police action figure collection, and I will show you guys that in this video. But Gotham City, Batman, what is it without its police force? You have to have a SWAT team, and now they have somewhere to ride in. And if anyone out there is wanting to get one of these for yourself, I could potentially put you in contact with a guy that made one for me. Just drop me a line in the comments below, and we can discuss it. So here's the official release of the Mattel Swambulance. I use this as an ambulance in my action figure collection. Ton of different uses for an ambulance. This thing has a bunch of different breakaway parts. It's a pretty cool vehicle, and it's huge. You can fit the tallest of your action figures into the driver's seat and passenger seat. The backside, and it's a little rougher, but it's a great vehicle. Like I said before, it had sort of a police feel to it. It's all in white, got sirens on top. You can open the doors. It's got a place where you can store equipment. That'll be great for the GCPD SWAT van. I mean, the stuff moves, breaks away, opens up. You can rip this off. You can open up the top here. The side here has breakaway parts. The back opens up. Just so many cool things you can do with this, especially now that I have a SWAT van. And of course, I do have two of these slambulances as well. Two ambulances for my Gotham City seems quite appropriate. People get hurt there a lot. Here are the two ambulances and two GCPD SWAT vans that I have. They don't look it from this angle, but these things are huge. And just to give you an idea of how the interior of the original looked, you can see it had all kind of different stuff, decals in the background, drawers and cabinets and equipment monitoring people. Just want to give you an idea how the original looked, then I'll show you the new one, although the inside wasn't really detailed much. I also want to show you guys all the breakaway features of this vehicle. I wanted to show them to you on the original ambulance, as I'm going to be treating this SWAT van with love and care, not going to be risking any paint chipping. Not really trying to rip all those parts out constantly there. Only on the rarest of occasions. So there's a wall piece that comes out. The doors can come off. Actually, the siren here can even come off. The hood comes off. The top roof can come off in two different pieces. Other door comes off. Two side panels here that come off, and you can store equipment in there. The back doors come off, and it has an action feature. If you press on the front, it'll launch the stretcher out. A feature I'm definitely not planning to use with these SWAT vans. This is probably one of the only things I'll use. Think in the Dark Knight when the Joker's shooting an RPG at the SWAT van carrying Harvey Dent. Of course, I will be opening and shutting the top to put figures in there as well as the back, but I'm not going to take the pieces off, and I'm going to be very gentle when doing so. And speaking of paint chipping, unfortunately, they both got a small piece coming off of the top. You can see a little white exposed here and here. I wasn't sure if it was just a little dirt on there, so I brushed my finger across and a tiny bit more paint came off. Now I have plenty of high quality paints for action figures. I can touch that up with complete ease. Just something that concerns me over time is using these things, and the fact that the natural color of the vehicle is white. If any paint chips off, it's going to be very noticeable. Like I said, no problem at all. I can fix this with complete ease. Just want to be very careful with them as to not have it look bad. Now let's check out the measurements of this thing. Like I said before, it is massive, it's huge, it is a beast. So, as far as how long it is, about 17 inches long. As far as how tall it is, about 8.5 inches tall. And how wide it is, looking at about 6.5 inches wide. And now let's take a look at a few more details on this thing. Let's check out the bottom. Pretty basic. I believe this thing probably was not repainted. It was already black. You can see some of the white original color down there. Wheels do move. They move independently of each other. Very, very nice indeed. I am just blown away with how good this thing came out. And then to show you guys how the interior of this custom SWAT van came out. Mostly it's all black. Here's the side compartment where I can store weapons or riot gear. See the logo, Gotham SWAT. In the driver's seat, pretty much all black. Does have some steering wheel and some other details in there. And as we go to the back side, I asked him to just make everything in here black. It's not nearly as roomy as I'd like. You can't really stand up guys in there and have the roof shut, but you can sure fit a bunch of guys in there if you're strategic about it. Overall, I give this thing 2 thumbs up. Wish I had a third hand for a third thumb. Here's a large 7-inch McFarlane Batman on top of this GCPD SWAT van. Scaling up great with this thing. Here are these 2 SWAT vans in a scene like the film The Dark Knight, transporting Harvey Dent, being chased by Joker in a large semi-truck, and the Tumbler following behind that. And just a closer look at who's in these vehicles. You can see Joker and a bunch of his henchmen here trying to take down the van. We've got Harvey Dent and a SWAT officer on the inside. SWAT officer in the front seat. And the driver's seat. Just like from the film. And at this point, they're down to 1 SWAT van. Joker's about to shoot the RPG rocket and take him out. And the Tumbler comes and takes that rocket for him. And then we've got the Bat Pod facing off against a semi-truck. Who's gonna win? Here's Batman facing off with the Joker, seeing who's gonna call whose bluff, and we all know how that ended. The Joker here holding a knife, about to tell Batman how he got those scars. And here's Gordon apprehending the Joker. Their plan worked perfect. Here are a whole bunch of custom GCPD SWAT members in front of these 2 SWAT vans. These SWAT members are inspired from Arkham Origins. Here's the GCPD. set up outside where there's a hostage situation going on. And you can see Gordon discussing things with Batman like there's nothing unusual about that. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both these vehicles, where they came from, and what you can do with them, now let's check them out next to a couple of other 1/12 scale vehicles. I'll keep that as brief as possible, and then we'll check out what different police lines would fit in these things. Here they are next to a couple of unpainted Mattel Swambulances. Here they are next to a couple of Mattel WWE Breakaway cars. Here they are next to a few different 1/12 scale police motorcycles. These were pretty cheap. I found them on eBay by simply typing 1/12 police motorcycle. These work great for the NECA Ultimate T1000 motorcycle cop figure. Here they are next to a couple of Batmobiles. On the left, we've got a Mattel Batman Missions Batmobile intended for 6-inch figures. On the right, we've got a Spin Master Batmobile. This is actually intended for the 1/6 scale 12-inch larger figures, but I use it for my 6-inch collection and it works out great. Here it is next to a couple more Batmobiles. On the left, we've got a Mattel Batmobile from the line Batman, a 2-seater for 6-inch figures. On the right, we've got another Mattel Batmobile from the 1966 show, also intended for 6-inch figures. And here it is next to a couple more Batmobiles. On the left, we've got a Mattel Multiverse Justice League Batmobile. On the right, we've got DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series Batmobile. Both these are for 6-inch figures as well. Now let's check these SWAT vans out compared with some police action figures. We're going to start off with some larger lines and work our way smaller. In front of you are some McFarlane police figures. On the far left, we've got a sheriff from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the old McFarlane Movie Maniacs line. And the next 4 are all McFarlane Stranger Things Chief Hopper figures. We've got a couple head swaps in the middle there, and on the right we've got a fully repainted into a blue police officer uniform. I thought the middle ones might make for some good old school country cops. And yes, they can fit in with complete clearance and ease. And while we're on the subject of McFarlane Toys cops, here's Bobby from We Happy Few. This guy here kind of makes me think of a Jokerized cop. You can see that white smiling face. Pretty weird. And once again, no problem there whatsoever. Here they are with my McFarlane DC Multiverse GTO, Gotham Terrorist Oppression Unit. This squad was customized out of a bunch of Jack Napier, Joker, McFarlane, White Knight figures. It makes for a great specialist organization in my GCPD. Perfect for these SWAT vans. They fit in the vehicles just fine as well. And here are these vans next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. On the far left, we've got Detective Hartigan from Sin City. Then we've got Bullock and Gordon from the TV show Gotham. And on the right, we've got Mulder and Scully from X-Files. They can make for some great detectives, or even some FBI agents. And yes, they both fit in here just fine. Even Bullock, and he is probably the largest of all my police action figures out there. Hat can stay on, can fit in there with complete clearance. And here's a few more DST or Diamond Select toys. I got these Battlestar Galactica figures in blue outfits and used them for police action figures back in the day when there weren't that many options for police figures. The one on the far right, the female, I used as Renee Montoya in my GCPD. And of course, they fit as well. And here are a couple of NECA figures. The first one on the left is from Splinter Cell. He's just sort of in regular clothes, with a bulletproof vest on. I thought would make a good police officer. And then we've got Dr. Loomis from Halloween. Even though I believe he's a psychiatrist in the film, he also makes for a great detective. And of course, he fits in as well. Dr. Loomis's legs don't move, so there's no chance to get him in there. Here they are next to a whole bunch of NECA Terminator Police action figures. Most of these are made from the T-1000 from Terminator 2. Some are from the T-1000 from Terminator Genesis, giving you an absolute huge police force. And yes, these NECA police fit in there as well. And here are a bunch of custom SWAT members in front of these vans. Most of these are made from wrestling figures, but there's some Diamond and McFarlane figure parts as well. I'm not going to try to put these guys in there as they're customized. I don't want to deal with any paint rubbing, but they would definitely fit inside. And here they are with some big Boss Man wrestling figures. These are all a bunch of big Boss Man figures in his police or SWAT riot gear outfits. Some have been head swapped into other generic cops. They're all from Mattel and Jack Specific. And of course, these Mattel Boss Man Elite figures fit in there. The Mattel wrestling figures are actually what's intended for this original vehicle. And here's some Mattel Wrestling Creative Superstar Roman Reigns figures. This is Roman Reigns in his SWAT riot gear and works great for police action figures. They fit in the front as well. Probably going to stop showing all the figures in the front as the lines are getting smaller, and pretty much anything is going to fit in that's 7.5 inches or smaller. And here, with a few Resident Evil figures that work for some good cops. Of course, they're not going to fit in there as their legs are not articulated, at least on the females. Here's a few different Commissioner Gordon figures from DC Direct and DC Collectibles. These guys would fit in, but I think their trench coats could cause some issues. Here they are with some more DC Direct figures. This was a Commissioner Gordon from Dark Victory, customized into a GCPD SWAT force. They're probably not going to fit in as their leg articulation is pretty ancient. And here's a couple of Resident Evil zombie cops and a police officer from Reservoir Dogs. I use the zombie cops as police corpses in my action figure world, and the Reservoir Dog cop as a police officer that's being tortured. Here are several John Constantine figures. These are from DC Direct, DC Collectibles, and Mattel. I thought they made for some good detectives or private investigators. And with some DC Direct or DC Collectibles, Batman the Animated Series, police action figures. And here are what are mostly some Plan B Toys Emergency Forces figures. We've got some Bomb Squad, some SWAT, and some K9 units. Here's some Mafex Honor Guard Jokers customized into a few different cops. And here's a whole squadron of Mattel Movie Master police action figures from The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. And here's a few other random police type action figures. We've got Amy Pond from Doctor Who in her police outfit. We've got Sam and Twitch from the Spawn line. Then we've got Mulder, Scully, and Agent Smith from The Matrix, making some good detectives or FBI agents. So overall, these things are amazing. This is a contender for my favorite toy of 2020, even though it's a custom. When I first got this Slambulance, I knew what I had to do with this thing. As you can see from my collection, I'm addicted to police action figure building, army building, and now I have some vehicles to accommodate and transform my giant police force. In the Batman world, police are a huge part of his lore, so I'm happy to have what is more than a full squad of police action figures. Once again, if anyone's interested in getting one of these, drop me a line in the comments. I might be able to help work something out with you and the guy that made them for me. Just let me know. Give this thing 2 thumbs up. Absolutely amazing vehicles. I really wish they would release stuff like this legitimately and not make you go around and customize your own versions. But look how this turned out. My God, I'm just going to put my jaw back up. This thing is amazing. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you like the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure, vehicle, and diorama reviews of me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.